Welcome to the first episode of Alpha to Omega. I'm Suhail Dar. In this channel we'll be talking about all things about what it means to be human, from the Alpha to the Omega, from the first to the last, from the beginning to the end. Or so I hope. So let's get right into it. What it means to be human. Really, that question can probably be broken down into several aspects, each of which probably needs a video dedicated unto themselves. But let's first start off with meaning. What is meaning? Meaning is the comprehensible aspect to things around us. Whether they're animate or inanimate is largely irrelevant. As it pertains to the animate, you and I are having a conversation right now. That is obvious. But let's say it were raining outside and I didn't want to get wet. Well, then I would go into my closet and get an umbrella. It's because the rain means something, and it means something to me as it pertains to not wanting to get wet. In other words, things do have meaning, but what I do with it is my subjective perception. Now, if one were to say, hey Suhail, you're just projecting meaning onto the outside world, is that really the case? Well, I would simply answer that by saying, let's say I wasn't here, or there wasn't this channel. Well, then there would be no conversation for you to understand. Or, if there was no rain outside, there would be no reason for me to take an umbrella to prevent myself from getting wet. In other words, there is no projection happening. Rather, there's a distinction between being made between things meaning something and then what do I take from what those things mean. For example, somebody could be watching this video and not find it interesting and turn it off and find a different video. Or somebody could say, well, it's raining outside and I'm not too concerned about getting wet, so I don't really need an umbrella. Whereas somebody else may say, I do need an umbrella. In other words, the rain has some sort of meaningful aspect to it. What people do with it is their choice. The other important aspect of that question is being human. And just first starting off with being, if we think about it, all things happen to be. Things have a nature. Things have a physical aspect to themselves. And if they weren't being, I wouldn't be able to interact with them. So if I didn't happen to be, this channel wouldn't even exist. In that same vein, being human is a bit distinct from all other things, in that human beings can think, and they can reason, and they can feel. And not only that, that meaning we were just talking about, they can comprehend the expansiveness of the universe and everything it contains. That's unique. And in some sense, that's what it means to be human. Purpose. The question is, though, if I do have these sort of faculties and senses, if we can call it that, my ability to reason or intellectualize, my ability to feel, my ability to do things, so what? What does it even matter, honestly? And I'm sure, like you and like me, every day we kind of go through the same motions. We get up, we get ready, we may go to work or school, we come home, and we rinse and repeat. And we do these things day in and day out, and that becomes our purpose in life. Because otherwise, if there was no purpose, why would we be doing it in the first place? In other words, there is something there, and there is some compelling reason for us to do those things, whether we like it or not, but we do, and that's our purpose. The question, though, is that really the purpose of being human? And how do we answer that? The solution, really, is going back to the first question and ridding ourselves of these sort of external labels and this external baggage that I'm such and such professional, I'm a student, I'm from this and this place, and I do this and that thing. In other words, if there is any sort of projection happening, it's our projecting of external sort of societal expectations or labels onto ourselves. But if we go back to, like I said, the question about what it means to be human, then we see that if you really just boil down or distill down the human aspect of things. It's really the ability to think, to feel, to comprehend, and to make choices about our comprehension. And so what is the purpose in that? What is the purpose in our ability to understand the world? Because it doesn't have to be the case. I mean, I could be a rock or a tree, if we could even really say that I would even be. But I have a sort of unique aspect to myself in that I can comprehend the wider world. And to take that and to restrict that to a very small degree, such that, well, now I'm a teacher, now I'm a student, now I'm an engineer, now I do this or that. That's to take the broad aspect of one's humanity and to sort of reduce it. The question is that really the purpose then? Are we just projecting an artificial parameter onto who we are as human beings? And if that's the case, then what is the purpose behind us being able to comprehend things and to use our ability as human beings based on how we feel about the world and how we think about the world? What are we to do with it then? I think that's where I'm going to leave this episode for you all to sort of ponder on. I would just ask you to think about it. And I'll see you guys next time.